Hello and welcome to Music 1306, Spring 2020. This is Dr. Michael Jordan, and I am teaching this course. And what this is a narration of a PowerPoint presentation that will introduce you to the course syllabus for the in-class Music 1306 sections. Um, and hopefully you'll be able to take a look at this and understand everything that is involved in completing this course. As always, if you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask. So let's get started and talk about what's going to happen in the course for Music 1306. Here is the course description. This course description basically gives you kind of an outline of what's going to happen over the next 15 weeks. What we're going to do is discuss music in each of the particular style periods. And so musical style until the end of the course will be a function of um, history, starting with medieval music and kind of giving you an overview of each of the style periods: medieval, Renaissance, Baroque, um, Viennese classical, Romantic, and of course, 20th and 21st century music. So you're going to get an overview of each of these style periods, and there's going to be vocabulary associated with each of those style periods that is kind of unique to each style period. Um, so get ready for that. So here are the learning outcomes that I expect you to understand. Um, the identify musical works and elements in a variety of styles. So we just talked about style periods, and you'll be dealing with that as we go through the course. Analyze the elements and structures of music. Now, I have got a link there in the course syllabus on the Canvas webpage to the terminology that you're going to be required to understand. Also, I have a handout that I give the first day of class. The handout is also a file in the basic materials learning module. So if you don't get the handout, you can always download it from there. So these terms apply really to all the style periods. And we're going to basically go over each of these in general and in detail in the first learning module of the course. So I'll be giving lectures about these basic elements of music and the vocabulary associated with each. Um, uh, the elements basically are grouped into six basic understandings: melody, harmony, rhythm, form, timbre, and texture. So, and um, there are terms associated with each of these basic six elements, and then style is kind of the way that we combine those six musical elements to create unique kind of styles that engage listeners throughout the centuries. And also, these styles basically exist in a cultural and social and historical context. So you have to understand that some of the ideas of the context what you're dealing with as you examine these music and these style periods. So critically evaluate the influence of social, political, technological, and cultural ideas on the music. It's very important to understand that. And then articulate the significance of music as an art form. Um, and you're going to do that with the context of these discussion posts and also in the context of the concert review paper. So remember, the important thing is not to define the term. The important thing is to understand what it sounds like. So when we're dealing with, say, homophonic texture, it's not enough to know what homophonic texture is and be able to define it verbally. You have to hear it and then say, "Oh, that Mozart symphony is basically a homophonic piece." So, what is homophonic texture? It's orally perceived. You have to hear it. So that's going to be the main challenge, I think, for a lot of students as we go through this. The core objectives are listed in the course syllabus. So take a look at those. Those core objectives are things that we assess as we go through the course, and we assess them in terms of how well you achieve the learning outcomes. Um, so be sure and take a look at those. You're going to have access to a computer. There are computer labs all over the campus. You can log in to the computer as you go through the course. So it's not this is not going to be a crucial thing in terms of um, what we're doing in class, but it's going to help you to be able to have access to a computer. So and it's basically a lot of the course is going to be on Canvas. In fact, this opening lecture of the course is on Canvas for you. So I'll have that posted for you on Canvas as a YouTube video so you can hear what I'm talking about if you missed that first day of class. But the instructions for logging into Canvas are right here on this website, and there's a link for it in the Canvas web course. Also, though, you can access it just by typing in that address on your computer. Here's the required text. This is the third edition of Charlton Experience Music. There is the ISBN number. And there is a music download associated with that. So please understand that. So if you have a reliable internet connection, you can download these MP3 videos or our audios and get the music examples. It's very important that you have all the musical examples that are listed in the textbook. We go through them over the course of the semester, but you're going to have to also listen to them on your own so that you can recognize them in class in the tests. Plagiarism is becoming more and more of a problem, and there are detailed instructions explaining what plagiarism is and explaining how to avoid it. So please look and read closely at the plagiarism guidelines. If you copy and paste something from a website and don't cite it and don't include it in a bibliography, that is plagiarism. So if you're copying and pasting something from a website or from some other source and quoting it, that quote has to be in quotes and it has to be cited using MLA. So if you have any questions about that, ask me, but also go to the Language Hub and get some instructions as to how to cite sources. If you don't do that, it's plagiarism. And for anything you turn in through Turnitin, it's an automatic 0 if it's plagiarized. So, I don't understand why you do this, but don't do it, number one. And number two, don't come to me if you get a 0 on your paper and ask me, well, why did I get a 0? It's very clear as to why you get a 0 score on a paper. You plagiarized it, and yeah, it's just tough. You're gonna you'll be you can be disenrolled from this course if you keep doing it over and over again. So don't keep be aware of what it is and avoid it at all costs. I take course attendance for the first couple of weeks of school so that I can basically make sure you're attending so that I can do the census rosters on the 12th class day. I'm not as fastidious about taking attendance after that. But right, 3 tardies will count as 1 absence, and more than 2 absences for the term will cause you to be disenrolled. So, so if you have to be absent, talk to me about it. You can make up the work by listening to the lectures on the course website, and you can come in and make up exams that you missed during my office hours. You need a working email address. Everyone has an automatic Midland College email address. But you may not know that, and you may not want to access it for whatever reason. So you can change it by going into Canvas and changing the email address. And there's a link on the course website to that in that link in Canvas. So if you don't want to get your email through the college email, change it to an email that you use. If you have a Gmail account, change it to your Gmail account, and you should be able then to use it. Okay, there are going to be four sections in this course as we go through the course, and these sections will all include evaluations about as to how well you're doing and how well you understand the vocabulary. The most important thing for me is the vocabulary. If you can demonstrate that you can begin to hear the musical elements that we're going to be discussing in class and write and demonstrate written form that you understand what these things are, then you're going to do well in the class. If you demonstrate that you don't understand those things, then you're not going to do so well. So you must understand the required vocabulary. You must be able to use it and understand it as you're listening to these musical examples. So half of your grade is going to be based on these examinations. There will be a written exam at the end of each module. And so the course modules go along with the chapters in the textbook and the style periods. And so you are going to be required to understand what's going on within the style period and use the vocabulary that's outlined in the textbook and in class. So if half of your grade is based on these examinations. Course discussions, 20% of the grade is based on these discussion papers that you're going to be turning in at the end of each module. So be aware of that. 20% of your grade is based on a concert report. And again, there's a link to the concert review guidelines. This concert report is very important. You need to attend a live concert. You should start thinking about a live concert to go to immediately. And then you've got to basically write a paper about musical elements in one selection from that concert, not the whole concert, one selection from that concert. If it's a symphony that has 4 movements, then you comment on one movement. If it's a pop music concert, then you basically select one song, one selection from that concert and concentrate on that. And then describe musical elements within that. Then there's a short essay assignment that's 10% of your grade. So these are things you need to pay attention to. For some reason, students don't turn in the discussion things, and they don't turn in the concert review or the concert report. If you don't do that, then you're going to fail the course. There's just no doubt about it. So pay attention to that. Make sure that you attend a live concert and submit a concert review paper. You can revise it if it's bad, and by bad I mean, yeah, if you don't follow the instructions, you're not going to get a good grade. So read the instructions and carefully follow them. If you plagiarize, it's an automatic 0. So don't do that. Again, if you have any questions about this, feel free to contact me. So chapter examinations. At the end of each of the learning modules, there is a chapter examination. So, and these examinations are given in class. There's Scantron graded exams and short answer essays. So there's a combination of both. So if you miss an exam, you can come in and take it during my scheduled office hours. And the office hours are going to appear at the end of this PowerPoint presentation. They're also on the website, and they're posted outside my door. So be prepared for the chapter examinations. And I do have a way to help you prepare. Practice examinations. On the course website, I have posted practice examinations. So you can prepare for the in-class exams by taking the practice examinations. The practice exams do not count towards your grade. Only the in-class exam counts. But you can take the practice exam multiple times. The more you take it, the better the scores on the in-class exams are going to be, because all the questions on the practice exam may appear on the in-class exam. They won't appear in the same order or in the same, you won't have the same choices, but uh, you should be able to prepare for the in-class exam by taking the practice exam. The short answer essays are in the practice exam, and they involve uh, excerpts from the listening examples in the textbook. So you must be able to identify the listening examples in the textbook that you hear uh, for on the in-class exam. And to prepare you for that, I have these practice exams. So the more times you take the practice exam, the better your score in class is going to be. Um, I don't know why students don't take my advice and take the practice exam multiple times. I would say in order to get an acceptable score on an in-class exam, you need to take the practice exam 10 or 12 times. And so if you want to fail the course, then don't do it. I don't know why students don't do it, um, but there it is. It's right there for you. Um, and so my advice to you, if you want to do well in the class, is to take the practice exams. Um, that's all there is to it. 3 to 500 word discussion papers. These papers are over video materials that are they're going to be appearing in the learning modules on the Canvas website. We watch them in class. You should make notes in class, and if you have questions about the video, then you can always watch it again on the website. There are links to YouTube presentations, and so there are going to be 6 of these, and there are a series of questions that you respond to on the Canvas website, and you should submit a minimum of 3 to 500 words, non-plagiarized, please. And 3 to 500 words. What does that mean? That means 3 to 500 words. 25 words is not 3 to 500 words. Okay. So don't submit me some schlep thing together that you haven't thought about and just throw it in there and expect a good grade. There's a rubric that I go by, and you can see the rubric, and you can, again, revise it if you don't get an acceptable grade. Why you don't revise them, I don't know. You submit 30 words, you get a bad grade, then you never revise it, and guess what? You fail the course. And it's I need 3 to 500 cogent words. And what I'm looking for is the required vocabulary. You must submit something that contains information that you have gleaned from studying the vocabulary so that you can demonstrate that you can use the vocabulary accurately. So be aware of that. If you submit something that's kind of schlepped together and you don't use any of the vocabulary accurately, then your score is going to be way down in the dumps. And so, so again, you can revise it if you want, but you're going to have to demonstrate mastery of the vocabulary in any subsequent revision. And again, ask me if there are questions. Feel free to ask me. The concert review, the concert report. Again, it's the same deal. What I'm after is the required vocabulary: timbre, texture, melody, rhythm, form, harmony. I want a paragraph on each of those things from one excerpt, one piece, one selection from that concert that you attend. If you don't do that, you're not going to get a grade. So, okay, the concert review guidelines are linked. There's a link to that, so you can take a look at that. If you follow those guidelines meticulously, then you'll get a decent grade. If you don't, you'll have to revise it. If you don't revise it, well, accept the grade you get. And there's a short essay, again, 3 to 500 words. It's an additional assignment. It's going to be due in April. And, again, there are several questions over a video that you have to watch. and that's only 10% of your grade, but it's always a good idea to submit it. You submit a decent essay, 300 to 500 words, and you get 100% on it. So it's a nice thing, nice kind of extra credit deal. Oh, by the way, there's no extra credit. Don't ask me about extra credit because there isn't any. You must demonstrate mastery of the vocabulary. Um, that's all there is to it. Corey, this PowerPoint narration is going to be available on the course website in the modules. So, and the PowerPoint narrations are available for each of the major sections of the course. So get in there, and if you miss the class, you can always take a look at the PowerPoint narrations. I can't put musical examples in the PowerPoint narrations. YouTube considers that a violation of copyright, so I can't do that. But I can talk about the pieces, and so you can listen to them and try to kind of gauge what I've said about them as you listen to the musical examples. So take a look at this rubric for discussion and concert report assignments, right? An A grade excels in responding. It's original, interesting, strongly thoughtful, free of spelling, punctuation, and grammatical errors. It uses proper musical terminology and addresses required topics critically and skillfully. So you want an A, there it is. That's how to do it. Especially the proper musical terminology part. You know, solid, a B grade, solid, responding appropriately to the assignment. Original and interesting, yet too general at times. Contains a few mechanical errors which may annoy but not impede the reader. I'm easily annoyed, okay? It uses proper musical terminology but sometimes lacks sophistication. That's a B. C, adequate but weaker and less effective than a B assignment. It is original but lacks interest and thoroughness. That lacking interest and thoroughness is important to me. If I see something that indicates you're just kind of schlepping through an assignment to get it done, get it over with, and go on to the next thing, I'm not going to be that impressed. You have to be thinking about what you're going to do. Work from an outline. Construct an outline. Think about what you're going to say. Organize your thoughts, and then say it thoughtfully. Don't schlep something together and throw it in there because, I've had 40 years of experience doing this, so I know when you do that. It's pretty obvious. And if you plagiarize something, it's a 0. Don't do that. You notice how many times I've mentioned plagiarism. Okay. It uses musical terminology with some success but lacks precise understanding. Demonstrates only a basic comprehension of subject matter. Okay. So that's a C. Schlep it together, that's what you get. A D grade does not respond appropriately to the assignment. You haven't read the frickin' instructions. So read the instructions. It lacks original thinking, an interesting personal response. It contains mechanical errors. Oh boy, does it ever. Um, you know, you got to learn how to form a possessive. Go to the language hub, get some help for these things. Don't just kind of throw things together and expect me to be impressed. If you leave out a comma, um, that can be disastrous to the meaning of what you're saying. If you leave out apostrophes, for God's sake, learn how to form plural nouns. Learn the difference between it's and right. It is, it apostrophe s, and its, which is it belongs to it. Okay, there's a difference between a possessive pronoun and right some of there. There are 3 ways to spell there. Which is the appropriate one? 2. 3 ways to spell to. Which one is appropriate? It goes on and on like that. So you got to be clear about what you want to say, and you got to say it in a clear way. And get help if you need help. Go to the language hub. Come to me. But don't just kind of throw something together. And an F, right? It does everything that it does not respond, lacks everything an A paper exhibits, irrelevant details are cited, no musical terminology. Boy, do I ever see that a lot. And there's very little or no discussion concerning the required questions. Okay, so there it is. That's what you're going to get. If you, of course, sometimes I can't even use the rubric. The submissions are so bad. So if you submit 35 words, I won't even use the rubric. I'll just give it a 25%. And, you know, and you'll know why, because you didn't do the assignment. There it is, right there. So take a look at this rubric and try to understand what it's trying to tell you. Okay, now you can, if you drop the course, that means you withdraw before the census date. No penalty. You get some of your money back. Some if not all, and no problem. You were never really there to begin with. You've been disappeared from the course, and but after the census date, um, you must withdraw from the course. As you know, or may not know, you only can withdraw from 6 courses over your entire college career. If you withdraw from more than 6, then what happens is that you have to pay out-of-state tuition in any future college enrollments. So if you determine that this is one of the 6 courses you want to withdraw from, there's a link to the withdrawal form in the syllabus page of the course website, and you must do it by April 9th. So there you go. Okay, here is the instructor information. So take a look at that. It gives you my office number, it gives you my office phone, and the office hours are there as listed. If you need to see me for any reason, need to make up an exam, whatever, basically you can do it by coming in during these office hours and talking to me or making up an exam. So I'm available here during these times. There may be times when I have conflicts, and in that case, you can just make an appointment to come in and see me. If you can't come in during these times, we can arrange a time for you to come in. Okay, so that takes care of the syllabus information. As always, if you have questions over any of this material, don't hesitate to ask. Um, I'll be glad to answer any questions or under things that you have. But my advice to you is to get started now. Don't come to me whining about your grade in April. By then, it's too late. The time to start worrying about your grade in this course is today, and then again and again tomorrow, the next day. Do it now. Don't come to me in April, because if you do, it'll be too late. That happens all the time. And don't ask for extra credit. The answer will always be no. Okay, so thank you. I hope you enjoy the class. I'll do the best I can to make it an interesting and an engaging experience for you, but your performance in this class is entirely up to you. Don't expect me to somehow wave a magic wand and get you to learn all this stuff. I can't do that. It's up to you. You must work diligently to get this done. So thank you for coming, and I hope you enjoy the course.